All right, you magnificent minds, welcome back to the deep dive. We are donning our intellectual scuba gear today.
Absolutely. And we're plunging deep, aren't we? Straight into the glorious chaos that is Reddit's Am I the Asshole?
Oh, it's a classic today. We found one that's just chef's kiss, full of family drama, got some real horns on this dilemma.
Indeed. We've got a pretty detailed post here from a user we're just going to call OP. It's about a big life decision, a move, retirement.
And the explosion that followed, naturally.
Right. So our mission really is to get past the surface, who's right, who's wrong, and kind of dissect the family dynamics underneath, expectations, responsibilities, all that good stuff.
Okay, so let's set the scene. We've got OP, the parent, 3 kids. There's Elliot, he's 28, married to Madeline, living 3 hours away.
And they've got kids. Quite a few, actually. Sophie, who's 12, adopted half-sister, then 18-month-old twins, Charlotte and Penelope.
And another one, a boy, on the way. So
Yeah.
grandkid central over there.
Meanwhile, back at the original homestead, you have Emily, 21, and Joseph, 19. They're both still living at home, going to the local state university.
Still under OP's roof. And OP has been visiting Elliot and Madeline, loves their little beach town.
Apparently really loves it and loves the grandkids.
Loves them enough to decide, you know what, early retirement sounds good. A cottage near Elliot sounds better.
So OP buys a cottage 10 minutes from Elliot, then tells Emily and Joseph, hey kids, selling the house this summer, moving away.
You can just hear the needle scratch across the record, can't you?
Oh, yeah.
Quite the announcement.
Definitely. Let's hear the whole story directly from OP. No paraphrasing, just the raw text. You ready?
Lay it on us. Let's hear the post. Okay, here we go. I have 3 kids with my ex-husband, Elliot, 28, Emily, 21, and Joseph, 19. Emily and Joseph still live at home while they attend the local state university. 3 years, Elliot married his high school girlfriend, Madeline, 27, and they have 3 beautiful little girls. Sophie, 12, is Madeline's half-sister that Madeline and Elliot adopted 3 years ago. They also have 18-month-old twin girls, Charlotte and Penelope, and they're pregnant with their first son. Last year, Madeline and Elliot moved from their apartment down the street from me to a house about 3 hours away for Elliot's job. I try to visit them at least 2 weekends a month, and I just love where they live. It's this adorable little quiet beach town. I've been thinking about retiring there since Elliot and Madeline moved down there, but I made the decision after I found out Madeline and Elliot are having another baby. I put in an offer on a little cottage on the beach, a 10-minute walk to Elliot and Madeline's house. My offer was accepted, so I decided to sit Emily and Joseph down to tell them my plan. I told them that I would be selling the house this summer and moving closer to Elliot and Madeline for an early retirement. I didn't want them to struggle to find a place to live, so I told them I will rent an apartment for them to share for 3 years or until Joseph graduates, whichever comes first. Neither will pay rent or any other expenses besides part of their groceries as long as they're still in school. I thought Joseph and Emily would be okay with this, but they were furious. Joseph is saying that I'm choosing Elliot and my grandkids over them, and Emily's claiming that I'm misusing their child support. The dad agreed to pay until they graduate from college because I won't get a good apartment. I'm getting them a simple 2-bed, 1-bath apartment in good condition close to their school instead of a luxury 2-bed, 2-bath with access to pools, a gym, and other nice amenities. I told her she's welcome to pay her tuition and living expenses on the $850 a month I get from her dad, and now she and Joseph won't speak to me. Elliot is suggesting that I could have given them more notice and talked to them about this before I bought the house, but I thought 3 months was plenty of time. Am I the asshole for moving to be closer to Elliot, Madeline, and my grandchildren?
Wow. Okay, so right off the bat, the thing that jumps out is how differently the kids are treated, or at least how it seems they're treated.
Totally. Elliot's in the loop, right? Sounds like he might have even encouraged the move, or at least OP was thinking about it because of him.
Exactly. He's part of the planning, maybe implicitly, but Emily and Joseph, they get sat down after the house is bought. It's presented as a done deal.
He's like, here's the plan, kids. Deal with it. Which, rarely goes over well.
No kidding. And you immediately see that golden child dynamic people latch onto in the comments. Elliot gets the consideration, the proximity.
While Emily and Joseph get an apartment offer.
Yes.
Which, okay, let's talk about that offer.
Yes. Because the comments brought up an interesting point. Apparently, Elliot lived at home through college and until he got married.
Right, so he got the full support, lived in the family home. Now Emily and Joseph get offered a shared, basic, 2-bed, 1-bath apartment. Rent-free, yes, but.
But it's not the same, is it? And there's a time limit, 3 years or until Joseph graduates. It feels less secure, less supportive, maybe.
You can see why Joseph might feel like, hey, wait a minute, you're setting up shop near Elliot and we're getting kind of pushed out. That feeling of being chosen against.
It's understandable, that emotional reaction. And then there's Emily's reaction,
Okay.
which is something else.
Oh, Emily. The demand for the luxury 2-bed, 2-bath with the pool and the gym, using child support money.
Yeah, the internet had a field day with that one.
Yeah.
Entitled was probably the kindest word used.
Seriously. It does make you wonder, though, where does that expectation come from? Is it just being spoiled, or is there something more like maybe how things have always been handled?
That's a fair question. I mean, they're still receiving child support while in college, living at home. Maybe a certain standard of living was the norm.
True. But OP is offering free rent, covering most expenses near their school. Objectively, that's huge support for college students.
It absolutely is. So Emily's reaction feels disproportionate. Maybe it's less about the apartment itself and more about feeling, I don't know, devalued compared to Elliot. Or maybe she genuinely feels that child support should guarantee amenities.
It's messy. And that child support angle itself is interesting. Paid until they graduate college.
Yeah.
And paid to OP.
Yeah, commenters picked up on that too. Usually, support might go directly to the adult child or stop earlier. Having it go through OP definitely gives OP a level of control, doesn't it?
For sure. Like when OP basically says, fine, you want luxury, pay for everything yourself with that $850.
Yeah.
It uses the money as leverage.
Which probably just fuels Emily's feeling that it is her money being misused. Even if legally it's channeled through OP, it adds this whole layer of financial tension.
Okay, but let's circle back to the biggest point of contention online. Even more than the apartment drama.
The timing, the communication, or lack thereof.
Bingo. Buying the house first? Making this life-altering decision without breathing a word to the 2 kids living in the house she's planning to sell.
Even Elliot, the favored son, apparently flagged that. He said, maybe you should have given more notice, talk to them first.
When Elliot's pointing out your communication faux pas regarding his siblings, you might have messed up.
Right. 3 months might seem like enough notice on paper, but it's not notice before the decision is locked in. It's notice of an impending, unchangeable event.
It feels disrespectful, like their lives, their connection to the home, their opinions just didn't factor in.
Exactly. And that's where a lot of the "you're the asshole" votes came from. It wasn't necessarily that she moved, but how she did it, that unilateral decision-making.
It raises that big question, how do parents navigate this stuff with adult kids? When do they stop being the decider and start collaborating, especially when everyone's affected?
It's a tough transition, and this situation blows it wide open.
But then you had the other side, right? The not the asshole crowd.
Oh, yeah. Plenty of people saying, they're adults, she can live wherever she wants, she's retiring.
And she's offering them free housing. Stop
Right.
complaining.
Exactly. That perspective is strong, too. That parental obligation has limits, especially once kids are adults, even if they're still in college. The offer was generous, objectively.
So you get this total split. Is it horrible communication and favoritism, or ungrateful, entitled adult children?
Depends entirely on your view of parental responsibility versus personal freedom and retirement, I suppose. And maybe your own family dynamics.
Okay, so looking ahead, predicting the future fallout. Emily and Joseph aren't speaking to OP. That feels ominous.
Yeah, that silence is loud, isn't it? You have to worry about the long-term relationship there. Feeling overlooked, feeling like your home was sold out from under you, seeing perceived favoritism.
That stuff festers. It can lead to resentment that lasts years, decades even. Low contact, no contact is definitely on the table.
Sadly, yes, especially if OP doubles down or doesn't acknowledge their feelings about how it was handled.
And then there's Elliot and Madeline. Are we sure they're thrilled about Mom moving 10 minutes down the road?
Huh. That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? The comments definitely question that. OP seems to assume it's all sunshine and grandparent cuddles.
But constant proximity, potential boundary issues, unsolicited advice,
Yeah.
showing up unannounced.
It could be wonderful, or it could put a real strain on Elliot and Madeline's family unit. Did OP really consider their needs and boundaries beyond more access to grandkids?
Good point. And just the emotional weight of losing the childhood home. Even as young adults, Emily and Joseph live there. That's their anchor, their history.
Absolutely. It's not just bricks and mortar. Selling the family home, especially when you're still living there, can feel like losing a part of your identity, your security blanket, even with a new apartment provided.
It's a lot deeper than just finding new digs.
For sure.
All right, let's do it. Let's hop in the back of our metaphorical lift and judge some Reddit comments. Scrolling. Okay, here's one. Reading, YTA, Golden Child gets mom living next door. Other kids get kicked out with support that feels like an afterthought. This screams favoritism.
Oof. Blunt. Okay, next.
Reading NTA. They are 19 and 21, not 9 and 11. Free apartment near campus is incredibly generous. Their reaction is pure entitlement, polar opposite.
The whiplash is real. Here's one focusing on the how. ESH leaning YTA. Your kids sound a bit bratty about the apartment, but T buying the house before telling the kids who live with you is a massive AH move. Communication fail.
ESH. Everyone sucks here. I can see that. Okay, how about reading NTA? Time for the little birdies to leave the nest. You gave them a great parachute with the apartment offer. They should be thanking you.
The tough love approach. Let's see. Serious question. Did Elliot and Madeline ask you to move 10 minutes away? Because that sounds potentially suffocating. Maybe YTA to them too, unintentionally.
That's thinking ahead.
Huh. Okay, yeah, good one. And this gem. The child support thing is weird. Why are you getting it for adults and using it as a bargaining chip? Just messy. YTA for the way you handled literally everything.
It really captures that feeling of multiple layers of questionable choices, maybe? Definitely. One more. Reading NTA. Your life, your retirement, your money, they are adults. The end. Simple, direct.
Very clear stance there. It really shows the spectrum, doesn't it? From deep empathy for the younger kids to a firm belief in OP's autonomy.
Absolutely. It's a tangled web.
It truly is. No easy answers.
So as we wrap this up, what's the big takeaway? The thing to really chew on?
I think it comes back to that clash, you know? A parent's right to their own life versus, well, the emotional and practical needs of their kids, even adult kids.
And how much does the delivery matter? Can a generous offer be totally undermined by handling it poorly, by making people feel unheard or unimportant?
Exactly. Was the offer truly generous in spirit, or did the lack of consultation poison the well? What's the long-term cost of making your kids feel like second tier?
Lots to think about there. Family dynamics, adulting, expectations. It's never simple.
Yeah.
Okay, that's our dive for today, folks. Keep pondering those complexities.
Until next time.